Hey guys, this is Dan from Pixabyte speaking to John Krajewski, studio head at StrangeLoopGames, about their upcoming game Vessel. How's it going, John?
Good. How you doing there?
Pretty good. Before we get into Vessel, John, why don't you give the viewers an idea of your background with the gaming industry, if you don't mind?
Sure. So I've worked in a few larger companies before we started StrangeLoopGames. I worked at Pandemic Studios over in Australia, and before that I worked at Midway over here in Seattle. And now we're back in Seattle for StrangeLoopGames.
Okay, cool. Well, your upcoming game Vessel is an interesting-looking puzzle platformer. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your game?
Yeah, so as you said, it's a puzzle platformer. The unique thing we're doing with our game is the liquid physics. So kind of the key mechanic of this game is this liquid simulation that we have, and we use that as a basis for all the puzzles. And we're actually forming characters out of this simulated liquid. So you'll have liquid that can flow and splash and kind of behaves naturally. And there's several different kinds like lava and water. And then you can actually bring that liquid to life by turning it into a character. And that's kind of the basis of all the puzzles, is you're bringing this liquid to life, using it in different ways to get around obstacles.
Okay. You mentioned that it was based on liquid physics. Now, what made you decide to make a game where liquid was the main instrument used to solve the puzzles?
It's kind of an interesting start. It had originally started as a hobby project of mine. It was a physics engine I was working on. I was really interested in simulating objects bouncing around, and I tried adding liquid to it. And it was just such a cool thing to mess around with, just like playing with the liquid and watching it move and splash. And so we kind of thought, where can we take it from here? It looks really cool. What other stuff can you do with it? And we kind of got the idea of, let's make a character out of it, keeping his whole body completely made out of this liquid form. And it turned out that led to a lot of interesting different kind of interactions. Like you have different types of liquid, you have different types of creatures. And it was really the perfect ingredients for a puzzle game. And that was kind of the thing that set us off. And then the story and the visuals all kind of grew out of that initial seed of having this liquid you can bring to life. So the story is kind of based around you're this inventor who's created this liquid device called a fluoro, and it's used to do labor all over the world. And at the start of the game, it's a huge success already, and they're starting to change. They're starting to run amok and take over these factories and places that they work, and you have to go and investigate the problem.
So they kind of got a mind of their own there then, huh?
Exactly, yeah. And as you go to these different work sites, you find that they're starting to adapt to their environment. They're actually evolving. So you'll see kind of these different evolutions of the main character's first invention as they're changing in this world.
Okay. Real quick, would you say that any other games influence the creation of Vessel?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been inspired by a lot of the indie games out there, like Limbo and Braid and Portal. I guess technically it's an indie game since Valve is independent, but just the way they approach these puzzles. I mean, not any specific mechanics or anything that we directly use from them, but kind of this idea of a natural design. It's like, okay, here's these interesting systems. Here's a portal that you can create in space. What does that mean? What can be done with that? And all the things that come out of that aren't arbitrary things that game developers came up with. It's just like a consequence of these systems. And so we kind of try to follow that same line of thinking to make these puzzles feel as natural as possible. You have this liquid. You can bring it to life. What effect is that going to have? These liquids have these interactions. These creatures have these behaviors. And all these kind of interesting intersections fall out of that. And that's really what we want to explore with our game.
Okay. Yeah, Limbo and Braid, definitely two of my favorite indie games that I've played recently.
Oh, yeah.
Had a blast with those. Can you give me an idea of what inspiration went into the art style of the game?
Yeah, the art style was done by our artists over in Australia, Malenko Tunjic and Mark Filippelli. I used to work with them at Pandemic Studios. So they've done an awesome job on that. Kind of the style we're going for is to really expose a lot of the machinery of the world. So we have the main character, and we have the fluoros, the liquid creatures. And these liquid creatures are kind of halfway between like a machine and a living thing. So we decided to go with a world that's really characterized by all these machines with exposed working. And so you see all the gears moving, you see all the different parts and things like that. And that it forms a really nice contrast between the three of those main kind of characters. It's like a continuum. So that was kind of our inspiration for it. Another source of, or a constraint, I would say, that determined the direction we went in is that our physics simulation is 2D, which lets us do a lot more fluid, lets us do a lot more with it. And so we wanted the world to be 2D, but not to have that, kind of have a modern look still. So we went with the 2D textures, hand-drawn textures with 3D normals applied. So it's kind of this hybrid approach where you have this hand-drawn look, but it's still influenced by 3D lighting and all the kind of modern things you're used to seeing. So it kind of gives a surreal, interesting look to the world. And then we add a lot of depth, lots of layers in there. And I'm pretty happy how it's turned out.
Okay. Now, in Vessel, we'll be playing as Arkwright, the main character. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Arkwright and how he fits into the storyline and world of Vessel?
Yeah, so Arkwright, he's an inventor, as you said, and as I mentioned, he's created this machine, this fluoro, that's a massive success all through the world, and he's working on his next invention. So at the start of the game, there's kind of two main threads through the game. Like these fluoros are changing, adapting, they're running amok, and you got to go take care of these problems at these factories and work sites. And at the same time, he's working on his next invention called the accelerator. And this is a big building-sized machine that you kind of figure out what it does through the course of the game. And you don't have all the pieces as you start. So as you go to these different locations and you encounter these evolved fluoros, these fluoros that have kind of adapted their environment, you're able to collect their abilities that kind of naturally have evolved and use them in finishing your machine back home.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how long has Vessel been in development?
It's been in development about 2.5 years full time, and it was a hobby project for a while before that. So quite a while now. Can't believe it's almost done.
And how about the size of the team that's worked on Vessel?
So right now we're 6. We have 4 core people, and we have 2 contractors working with us.
Okay. Are you playing or looking forward to any other games right now, other than Vessel, of course?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to Diablo. I'm hoping that comes up after Vessel ships, so I can chill out and play that for a while.
Spend some time with that. Yeah, I'm sure you'll be spending a lot of time with that. And when can we plan on playing Vessel?
March 1st, coming out is our ship date on Steam and StrangeLoopGames.com.
Okay, and will it be coming to PS3 and Xbox 360 at a later date?
That's right, yeah. We'll have console dates announced later.
Okay. All right, and many gamers definitely like to try before they buy. Can we expect to see a demo for Vessel?
Yep, we'll be having a demo as well on our website.
Excellent. And how much can we expect to be paying for it?
We're looking at $15.
$15? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a look at StrangeLoopGames' upcoming title, Vessel. I'd like to thank John K. for being here with us today.
No problem. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. This is Dan from Pixabyte, reminding you to keep an eye out for Vessel on March 1st, 2012. Thanks for watching.